Welcome to episode 5 of Project W, where we are taking you on a journey to create more opportunities, sales, and growth for your business using Walmart.com. We are showing you how to sell your Amazon products on Walmart.com using these same simple methods. I'm Carrie with Helium 10.
And I'm Tim Jordan with Private Label Legion. And on this episode, we're going to be talking about listing photos. Not only the requirements and restrictions for the photos, but we're also going to be diving into some examples of good ones and a few bad ones. Here we go.
So the first thing that we actually want to do is go over the actual guidelines for images. Now, there are some things that you might actually see on Walmart right now that are currently happening, but they might not actually fit into the guidelines. So we want to make sure that you set yourself up for success to never have any infractions at all with Walmart.com. So let's go ahead and I'll share my screen and we'll go over some of the image guidelines.
And while Carrie's pulling this up, keep in mind that we love to be completely above board. We like to be completely within terms of service. So we are literally asking Walmart to give us this information. So the screen we have pulled up here from Walmart is within their seller help section, literally in their image guidelines. Now, I want to give a little caveat before Carrie starts dissecting this for us. The first section that we're going to talk about is general listing photos, but there is a second qualification and set of parameters for apparel. And we'll briefly talk about that after this. But Carrie, go ahead and show us what we got.
Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the image requirements as spelled out in the seller help guide. So they show you the file formats. We've got JPEG, JPG, PNG, BMG. So those are the actual file formats that you're going to want to utilize. The color format and the file size is no more than 5 megabytes. Background needs to be seamless white, and then also for the best customer experience, they're actually saying that you need to have a size of 2000 by 2000 or higher. It's recommended for Zoom because most customers do like to zoom in and see things a little bit closer.
And keep in mind that quality of your listings is so important to ranking on Walmart. They love that. So yes, the minimums are 1,000 pixels by 1,000 pixels. Make sure it's 2,000. Other things here is that Walmart, kind of like Amazon, says that we cannot load pictures with accessories that aren't actually being included with the item. Now, I have always, what's the word? What's I'm looking for?
Styled,
or maybe I've always perceived that with a little bit of a loose interpretation, just like we talked about in Project X with the egg tray that we're going to sell on Walmart now. We take photos with the egg tray with eggs in it. So we assume that the marketplaces want us to add maybe components into the photos that help it sell, to explain what it is. There are some products that without some accessory items, it would just be completely impossible to figure out what that is. So we're going to be a little bit lenient on that, but their official word is do not add other items or other accessories that are not included with the item.
So yeah, and with lifestyle images, there are quite a few lifestyle images on Walmart. And so if you are showing a picture of a kitchen, that doesn't mean you have to remove everything. So you got to kind of think about it that way as well. They're just saying within the white space, they don't want you to have your product and then a bunch of products around it that are unrelated to that particular product. So that you don't want to confuse the buyers. Basically, everything needs to be something that'll enhance your actual images.
And I think there's a difference too, or I'm pretty certain there's a difference between the main listing image and then like those lifestyle images. So they don't really differentiate between main listing image or not, but we know that just looking on Walmart, there are a lot of lifestyle photos that everybody kind of seems to be getting away with it and enhances the customer experience. And even though some of the examples that we've already shown and that I'm sure we're going to see today show lifestyle photos in the main image, we're going to follow this restriction here that says that we have to have those borderless white photos just like we talked about without a ton of white space. Fill up that image.
Yeah, so an example of that is actually down here. If I scroll down here, there's this shoe photo. If your photo is showing the item extremely small and there's a ton of white space around, they want you to zoom in and crop out that white space to blow up your actual product. So that's what they mean by that. So here's what it looks like on a listing, what it potentially could. You have the different angles of the product, and there's a lifestyle photo.
Yeah, so even their example shows a lifestyle photo. Exactly. It's just not the main image. And talking about white background, this example here of this Max Life motor oil, that's pretty obvious. Most of you know what a white background is because if you're selling here on Walmart, you are an experienced marketplace seller, you should know exactly what that is. Some other examples they give here are things like no watermarks. That should be fairly obvious if it's our own product. If you were selling wholesale or arbitrage items, maybe you're grabbing stuff off of like Google Images that had that. And then On this photo here, this kind of, I guess this is an iPad, this I think is a better example of not confusing the customer. See, in this bad example, it shows the earbuds and the cleaning brushes and all of this good stuff. Those are easily misconstrued as accessories with the bundle, so I think that's what they don't want. I don't think they have a problem necessarily with eggs in the egg holder, and that's kind of what we're going to go along with.
Okay. So the fashion categories, Tim, did you want to go over some of the fashion details?
Yeah, really the only big difference in fashion details are the pixel dimensions are a little bit different. We get to 2200 by 2200 instead of 2000. The minimum is higher as well. And then there's also this thing called a swatch pixel. And we can show you what that is as we're diving into this. But essentially on a listing that has variations, instead of the variation details being listed in text, so if I was selling shirts, instead of them saying gray and pink, we can actually upload a separate image that gives kind of the visual of that pink, of that gray shirt. If we don't upload that, they're not going to do it, because the images that we might have uploaded for the main photos for that variation would be those 5 megabyte images, which is just way too large. So we're actually going to upload these tiny little images that are 50 by 50 pixels that are going to just be used for that swatch. So that's really the only difference in fashion categories, is higher quality photos, larger format photos as far as the file size, and then the addition of those swatch pixels, which we'll show you here in a few minutes.
Something else I'd like to point out is to get a hosting site for your photos, it makes your life so much easier, because what you do is in an upload file, you actually just upload the image URL. These image URL requirements right here are what you would want to follow. Now, you can find this guide at sellerhelp.walmart.com, and then you're going to choose guides, and then this is under the images, just so that you can find it yourself. But the image URL requirements are right here. If something happens and your listing gets taken down, you actually usually upload these in a bulk upload file, and all you would have to do is just re-upload that file instead of having to upload each photo one by one. It just makes your life a lot easier in troubleshooting a lot of issues. So I would say set yourself up to be able to host your photos somewhere else.
So explain what photo hosting is. Does this mean that we can't upload our images directly to Walmart, that it has to be hosted somewhere else?
You can actually upload your photos directly onto Seller Center, but I did notice when I tried to make a variation that I actually couldn't do that on just directly uploading them. I actually had to upload a file, and on the flat file, the only thing that you can upload in terms of images is an actual URL.
Now, so if you look at here some examples of where these can be hosted, Amazon image hosting through the AWS platform is accepted if they meet the guidelines, which I think is funny. Maybe one day Walmart's going to say we don't want Amazon hosted photos anymore. Scene 7 seems to be the service that Walmart prefers the most. They do not like PhotoBucket, Dropbox, Google Drive. They don't like any of this stuff. They like the platforms that are specifically designed to host images for a very specific purpose. PhotoBucket's definitely not one of them, although we've seen a lot of people try those. The rest of this is a lot of really high-tech stuff we don't need to get too much into, but I think that we've kind of covered the majority of the requirements. So it's very, very similar. Just follow the pixel dimensions, follow the size dimensions, and then follow generally the rules of a white background photo for the main listing image, although we will add some maybe props for very specific cases like the egg trays. No lifestyles for the main images. Lifestyles appear to be okay according to their exact example of that mixer.
Yeah. So, okay, so what we want to do is actually take a look on Walmart.com. We want to take a look at some listings, and we're going to look at our competitors and kind of critique them and see what's going on with them. So I'm going to actually type in egg holder into Walmart.com. And which listing would you like to kind of analyze first in terms of images?
Well, I know you are dying to critique the Pioneer Woman stoneware egg holder. So let's go ahead and remember in the last episode we were talking about the prioritization of this real estate. Like, this is where we sell our stuff, right here on these images. And Carrie has reminded me 16 times at least off camera that this is not very well done. So Carrie, what would you have done here differently?
First of all, I mean, so many people love the Pioneer Woman stuff, so I just don't think these pictures do any of, or just this particular product justice, okay? So when I look at this, I feel like I can't see, there's cute little images in each of the egg holder trays. It's hard to actually see them. Like, I just don't feel like there's a crispness in the actual image itself. Like, there's some shadows within the actual egg tray itself.
So even though this is per guidelines, like it takes up most of the image, it's white backdrop, it really doesn't explain what this is. Like, I would have had no idea.
I also I'm like, is this the bottom? What's the top look like? Is the bottom blue? What does that look like? Because I actually don't see. I see kind of around the edge. Maybe I can see that the bottom is blue, but it's just like you can see on this bottom image a little bit zoomed in that it actually those photos are a little bit clearer. Like the flowers that are in there, you can see them clearer. So your other image where you see from the top down, I would like to see those a little bit more in focus.
What about a trivia question? Are they taking advantage of all of the images that they could be on this?
Definitely not. They're only using 4 images right here. And they're also not using infographics, which I think as Amazon sellers, we all know are really, really helpful to sell. Like you could do an infographic with even the size dimensions. That would be really helpful. And then also a lifestyle photo. I mean, this is a really cute
they've got one
piece
lifestyle
of
photo
artwork.
in here, but it's actually not very good.
Yeah, this is just not, like, show it how it's in the fridge, or, for farm fresh eggs, you can actually leave them on the counter. So, show some farm fresh eggs with some cute backgrounds that'll really sell this product. I mean, I honestly think that's a really cute egg tray, and I think that they're really missing the mark with those images.
Let's find a better one. So we know that even though this is nice looking, and maybe they're getting away with it right now, they should definitely not be doing this non-white background. I do like this one, even though it does show props. Again, check out the add to cart and then options, so we know this one has variations, right? Look how inexpensive that is, too. 1.5 stars and plus 3-day shipping. This is probably drop shipped. This may be drop shipped or something. But let's check this one out, because this one looks like maybe they're on the right path. Oh yeah, look at this, multiple images. They have got their main photo that actually shows what it is. Even though it has the eggs in it, I still love it. Next image, instantly really nice lifestyle. Different angles, closed, open, top, bottom. I love the hand being in there, and then with the retail packaging.
Can you show again that lifestyle image? Yeah. So they show even where, they put it just on the shelf there.
It's so nice. Now, of course, we could spend all day criticizing this and telling everybody what they've done wrong and what they should have done better. But this one I actually like pretty well. The only thing that I might change is a couple more lifestyle images, and again, they're missing out on infographics. But as I'm looking through this, that catches my eye as a well-done listing, right? I don't like this one. This one is fairly similar.
Why don't you like that first one?
Well, it's too washed out. It's got, this like cheap, like this looks like, your Walmart shelf, full of camping gear, which I don't necessarily like. Let's take a look at this one right here. This one's a different color.
Very modern looking.
I think this is a really nice listing. Now, this isn't very different as far as depth and complexity than the other egg tray, but just look at that difference in the angle. You can see how deep it is. You've got 2 sides to it. You've got several lifestyle photos, which is great. I love a little bit of infographics being used there. You
can use it at your party for your deviled eggs.
There you go. That's a good Alabama hors d'oeuvre, or hors d'oeuvre as we like to call them. I like this. I mean, this is all good. This is a really, really good listing. And
and it said it had some infographic there.
So again, we've got a main listing image that follows all the rules. It doesn't look bad. It stands out. The coloration's good. You can tell they've done this very professionally. So let's jump into maybe another search topic. Let's pick something random. Hey, Kevin. Kevin's our cameraman. Kevin, give us a random product category to look up in Walmart.com. He's never been called like on the spot like this. This is great.
Cooking supplies?
Cooking supplies. That is so generic and random, but we're going to find a whole good sampling here. So not a terrible option to look at. Oh my goodness, what a mess. This is a disaster.
I feel overwhelmed,
I feel overwhelmed too. Now, this is actually a good example of maybe some ways to do things right. If you're selling a bundle, that tells us exactly what this is. And I think there would be a lot of debate between these two bundles. See these two listings? Is this better or is this better? I think this one's actually more clear if I was going to buy a listing of this. So keep it simple. You don't have to get crazy and artistic like this. This is a complete, in my opinion, disaster, because I don't know what on earth they're selling.
Yeah.
Are they selling the cooking board? Are they selling the skillet? Are they selling the hot pad? Are they selling the towel?
They must be selling it all because it's $50.69.
$50.69. Well, let's actually see what they did. So I think this image is misleading. Nope, it is just the utensils.
Wow, it's just the utensils.
Just the utensils. This is what they're selling. but this is their main listing image.
So that should have been their main image. That white
this
background.
should be their
that
main.
should be their main
this should
image.
be their main listing image,
And they should throw out the other ones.
and they should definitely get rid of the other ones. 'cause it's too convenient. And some of these are done. Like you can tell, this is a very professionally done photo. It's not bad. And then if we look at the scroll feature, the zoom feature, it actually gets in there pretty tight, right? So this is why
it's a little pixelated.
It's a little pixelated, but this is why the requirements are 1,000 by 1,000, but they recommend 2,000 by 2,000 because I think that it wouldn't be as pixelated if they had done that on this listing. So pretty good job, Kevin, there. Appreciate you throwing out a curveball for us. And again, we can look at some really good ones, some really bad ones. I'm very interested in, for some reason, this one.
Steel bowls, okay.
Well, and it's only because I really like the way that image is laid out. That's pretty creative,
That's
right?
pretty
The way
cool.
they've got the different sizes. So just think if they hadn't laid it out in that kind of positioning, how would you know the different sizes and how would you fit all 5? You couldn't do an overhead shot. Let's see how they did.
Only one other image.
So one lifestyle image, which is photoshopped. Obviously,
Yeah,
this is
very
terrible.
photoshopped.
And then you've got this. So again,
This is your main selling point. So.
wait a second. We're in cooking supplies. I know that's a very heavily searched keyword, right? But we've got crappy photos. We've got weirdly priced things. We have stuff in here that only has 3 reviews, 1 review, 6 reviews.
What is the product?
2 images.
Looks like food prep is the product category there.
Food prep is the product category. Again, remember that product category is very important. But my point is, again, it should be fairly easy to rank for this stuff because very few people are doing it, and the ones that are here aren't doing it correctly. And well, I shouldn't say none of them are, but very few of them are doing it correctly. All right, do we want to jump to one more category and take just a quick look?
I honestly kind of want to look at the wooden egg trays
All right.
just to see what
Let's
kind of
see
things
if
we're
the-
against.
Let's even see if they have wooden egg trays.
They do.
They do?
Yeah.
Okay. You're cheating. You're fast forwarding us here, Carrie. The listeners needed to be in suspense, but let's check this out. So wooden egg trays, so again, they're not even ranking for egg trays or any of those keywords we went through on my beautifully handcrafted, well, it was actually terrible, wasn't it? My handwriting, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But you guys saw all those keywords they're not ranking on. So which one do you want to take a look at? Which one do you think is going to be our biggest competition for selling just based on the main listing
This
images?
has a very low price, the $11.99. I just am curious to see what kind of photos. they have.
$11.99, 3+ days shipping, and actually
No
all of them are
reviews.
3+ day shipping.
I don't
no
see
reviews.
any reviews.
They're ranked number 1 for wooden egg trays with
So-
a very weird. This is actually weird. It's like an
Odd
image
numbers.
that shows variations.
Yeah.
And a lifestyle in one image. I don't know if that's good or not. I don't think
I
it
don't
is,
think
but it's
it's good.
creative. So let's see what they got. So main listing image there.
Okay, so that's misleading too. The $11.99 is a 4 egg holder.
Yep.
So their dozen egg holder is $20.99.
So what they're doing for the variations is they're using the main listing image for all of them. So look, when I'm on the 4 egg holder, that's the second image. When I click to this variation, it transfers this.
Interesting.
Very misleading.
But I think somebody's thinking they're going to get a dozen egg tray for $11.99.
I think some think that. And then remember we talked about having the swatches, and we'll show you this on some textiles here in a moment. The swatches, this is them. Instead of just showing a size, they've actually uploaded those 150 by 150 pixel images that show those specific variations. So instead of saying 4 hole, 6 hole, and 12 hole. But
I feel like this is a sneaky tactic to put something that's very, very cheap in a
very
variation on your listing. That is something I hadn't thought about, that literally that lowest price is going to show on your main listing.
This is also interesting that I think they spent some money on these photos. I think
Oh,
they
yeah,
took
they're
a-
cute.
But
Yeah.
even though they sent these very high quality images, they have these weird things like a mixture of
Candles.
eggs and candles.
I don't like the candle
That's
idea.
super
What would
bizarre.
be kind of cool is if they showed you like, okay, you can use it all with candles or succulent candle, but what they did was put the eggs in there too, and I just don't think that's going to work.
And also check this out. The variation that's just the 6 hole kind of elongated one isn't even shown. So it must be out of stock. They must not be offering it right now. So
And yeah, it's really interesting how they're positioning it with like as a candle holder and a
It is
succulent
interesting.
holder and all that stuff.
we've got more of these. Now look, check this out. I can almost guarantee you, and we're going to talk more about this next episode when we talk about listing writing. I can just about guarantee you this is a copy and paste from an Amazon listing.
Yeah,
Because
you can
they've
see
got the
keyword
way
stuffing.
the keyword stuffing and the way that title is. And again, it's right here in the number 1 position. Prominent, not a very good listing. It looks like a bunch of cell phone. Look at these weird flower backgrounds.
Yeah.
And if you look at an example of variations without the swatches, this is what it is. So it's the information they put, 11 by 11 centimeter. I'm so glad we found those back to back to show the perfect example of why those swatches are so important. Because otherwise people look at this and it's like white noise.
Yeah,
like they don't even know what's going on. They might miss it. So this is an example of obviously a bad one. So I guess this one, handmade egg tray, I suspect that these are both the same seller with different variations.
So this actually looks better. It's got the infographics. So let's just take a look at, what does that infographic say? Anti-slip dots.
Oh, those are like the little
on the very
felt
bottom.
dots.
Okay,
Yep.
and then what does the next thing say?
So 10 inches long by 6 inches wide, so you know how wide it is. And this one, minimalist, 15 eggs. That's weird. That's a weird number. Usually everybody's
So
like
it's either
6, 12, or
12.
18. Yeah. Fits all chicken eggs. That sounds like a challenge because I'm sure somewhere out there someone's got a chicken
That's got
really
egg.
big eggs or a little bitty egg, right?
It's
handmade, natural
handmade.
wood. Okay, that's cool.
I mean, where is it handmade though? Can we?
So we have to go past all of our competitors
Yeah.
first, and then we'll get into here. Look at this keyword stuffing. Holy cow.
So question, was it handmade in a village in China or was it handmade in the US?
There's no telling, and there's really no information here that shows that this is, we'll get more into listing optimization later, but I can already tell you this isn't so hot because Walmart wants us specifically to sell the product, not necessarily keyword stuff, what you think. Now, I suspect that this listing and this listing are very similar. Wait, is that the same listing? It's the same photos, same infographic. So for some reason, this person has two listings.
They did not do a variation.
They did, but look, they're the same thing.
That's
no,
really strange.
No, it's not. This one is 18 eggs and this one's 15 eggs.
Okay, so yeah, so they
That's what
actually
it was.
chose not to do the variation, probably to take up more of real estate.
And so you can add directly to your cart instead of having to choose. So a 15 and an 18.
What would be interesting though is to kind of play around with the main images there if you're doing that.
Yep,
See
try that.
What would
I think they missed an
more clicks.
opportunity for sure. Here's another one. Again, it looks like it's just directly copy and pasted straight from Amazon because Amazon automatically uploads that main kind of brand name in all capitals. So that's why it looks like to us this is an Amazon listing. Again, not a white background photo for the main listing image, although it's not terrible. I mean, it shows the eggs in them. I kind of like it. I wish they would have centered it and might still put it on white
What's
background.
interesting is this product category is decoration kits.
Yeah, which is crazy because Amazon basically will show anything regardless of the category you're in as long as the keywords are relevant. Walmart doesn't do that. Walmart is very specific to a category. So that's why we mentioned earlier, if you put it in the wrong category, you may not show up. Now, we definitely put wooden egg tray, so it was so specific, wooden egg holder or wooden egg tray, that even though it's a different category, it popped up. But they're all the way down in party supplies.
That's interesting.
If we're searching for kitchen accessories, and I bet if we put regular egg holder, nothing's going to show up in party supplies. So make sure that all of your categories are where they're supposed to be. Now, this could have also been like one of those transfer softwares. Like there are different softwares that supposedly transfer your Amazon listing attributes to your Walmart listing attributes. That may be this because they got the category wrong. The software wouldn't know that. And it is directly a copy and paste. I bet the description and I bet the bullet points are very similar to Amazon. Yep, look at this. Very keyword stuffed. It is made of wood material.
Yeah.
This is a large, So my suspicion is it's not wasn't actually uploaded into Walmart manually with the kind of understanding and
Care and
knowledge that
detail.
you guys are actually getting right now about how to do this correctly. So I think we've given some really good examples. Again, we don't have to get too deep because everybody knows it, but let's go find a like textile, or let's find a garment so that we can see what the difference is there and play around with that. So give me a, well, you're wearing a pink shirt.
Okay.
Can we search pink shirt?
Sure.
A lot of pink shirts. So let's just pick one randomly. Actually, you drive.
Okay.
I have honestly never shopped for women's pink shirts on Walmart, so you're probably more more appropriate to search for these things. I see some fun ones.
That Crayola one would be kind of a
The Crayola one.
good Halloween costume. Oh, I like these tie-dye ones.
All right,
Are there more
let's go
options?
to the tie-dye ones. Yep. Check it out. All right. Time out. Back up.
Okay.
Back up. Back
Want me
up.
to go
We
back
missed
on
it.
the screen?
Yep. Go back on the screen. Back up. This is one of the differences between garments and other categories in the swatches for the variations. You see right under this main listing image, it actually shows the swatches of the variations, which is really cool, where the people that didn't upload the swatches are not showing. It shows options. So if you look at the Southern Charm shirt to the left of it, just says +8 options. And you might say, well, if it's more than 4, it says the number of options, but look on the far right and the far left of this line, it still shows a plus sign. So make sure if you have variations to use those swatches, because it looks like Walmart's really highly prioritizing the placement of those.
And you know what? It looks like this is 3-day shipping as well. So faster shipping is going to beat out all of these in the ranking.
All of these are 3-day shipping. It's crazy.
Okay, these are cute. Let's see here.
Love the infographics.
I do like the, the shirt itself. I do like the size chart being right good. There.
Lots of lifestyle stuff. Obviously, I wouldn't just have white backdrop on a model in all of them. I'd actually do some lifestyle. But I still think, let's see if they have lifestyle.
She is styling it differently. So she's got,
styling a little differently.
She's got it tucked in there. She's got the...
But then, of course, we'll just keep pointing folks to the swatches over here on the right. You can see the actual colors in real life without having to see like the text is green or pink, or which I know doesn't make sense when a tie-dye, but primary green or primarily pink. This is perfect. You couldn't actually do that without the swatches on a tie-dye shirt. It would be impossible.
This is actually kind of cute. I kind of want to buy it.
You can actually add it to your cart.
I can add
and you can just charge it to Helium 10.
So easy, yeah.
All right, so let's scroll down. Let's make sure that on the bottom of the listing, everything else is the same. So we know the imagery is different for garments. We do know that in product details, things are going to be a little bit different in garments because they're going to list a few things. We'll talk about that when we build our listing. We want to kind of stay on topic with the photos, but still nice to come through here. And the specifications is much larger on garments as well. So from what we've been able to tell, now there may be something out there, and folks, if there is a difference from what we're talking about, make sure to go into the Winning with Walmart Helium 10 Facebook group and talk about it. Say, hey guys, I'm watching episode of Project W, and look, I found a new change, or I found a new variation, or I found a new exception. Post it in the Winning with Walmart Facebook group. But it looks to us like, as near as we can tell, all of the listings are fairly similar, with garments being the only exception, or apparel, I should say. I'm sure shoes count, so apparel. Right?
Yeah.
All right,
great
cool.
Stuff.
I think we covered a lot. I don't think there's anything else to cover, is there?
I don't think so. I just want to reemphasize, focus on your images. Spend the time and the money to make these exceptional. And because it's going to be one of the main things that's going to help you convert.
Absolutely. So to review, in this episode, we absolutely covered a lot of stuff about product listing photos. Some things bad, some things good, the requirements that Walmart specifically gives us. Again, those are going to change, so we hope that the changes aren't too bad. If you're watching this a year from now, we'll try to keep stuff updated. And then if you want to see all of the show notes and all of the episodes together, make sure to go to helium10.com/projectw.
Okay, so on the next episode, we're going to take everything that we've learned so far and we're going to start building our listing. So get excited for the next episode.
Awesome. See you there.